You have seen my video Greater, and I have seen your comments, and after multiple requests, here is the instructional for Greater by Mercyme. For the first verse, it says, bring your tired, bring your shame, bring your guilt, and bring your pain. Instead of bring, we say give, because we want to give those things to God. So I do bring your tired, give your shame. Bring your guilt. Instead of guilt, this is guilt. And I didn't really like that sign, and I thought that guilt and regret kind of went together. So I say, bring your regret. Then, bring your pain. Bring your pain. Don't you know that's not your name? I didn't want to say don't you know. I say you need to know. So you need to know that's not your name. You will always mean much more to me. Say, you will always mean so much more to me. And that was the first verse. So again, it says, bring your tired, bring your shame, bring your guilt, and bring your pain. Don't you know that's not your name? You will always mean much more to me. Now, the little part that is after the first verse, and it's kind of like a hook before the chorus. It says, every day I wrestle with the voices. So we do. Every day I fight with the voices that keep telling me that I'm not right. But that's all right. I say, but that's fine or okay. So every day I fight with the voices that keep telling me I'm not right. That's all right. And you have to make sure it flows with the tempo of the song. Now it's time for the chorus. One of the most important parts of this song. It repeats fairly often, and it starts with, because I hear a voice and he calls me redeemed. And so I say, I hear a voice, and who? He calls me redeemed with R's. And he calls me redeemed when others say I'll never be enough. So since you're already here, go ahead and do people with P's. Do people. So I hear a voice, and he calls me redeemed when others say I'll never be enough. You have the cup of sugar, you clear it off because you have enough already. Enough. And greater is the one who's living inside of me, and greater is the one living. I do signed, so I make sure I do my L's, but you can just do the thumbs up if that's what you're more comfortable with. So, living inside of me. The next part says, then he who's living in the world. I didn't want to do living twice, so instead I say, then those in the world. You repeat in the world a couple times. In the world. In the world. And then it says it again, and greater is he who is living inside of me than he who is living in the world. The second verse is a lot like the first verse. It says, bring your doubt, your fear, your hurt, and your tears, but instead we sign give. So your first thing is going to do give your doubts, give your fears, give your hurt, and give your tears. There will be no condemnation here. We say judging, so no judging here. And when you're going to the beat, you have to make sure it's bring your doubts and bring your fears. It's roughly twice for that one. Bring your hurt and bring your tears. There will be no condemnation here. There will be no judging here. You are holy, righteous, and redeemed. Holy and righteous are awfully the same. We do, you are holy, you clean the slate. Then you do righteous with an R. Righteous and redeemed. I wanted to do redeemed, but because of just doing an R, I wanted to change it, so I usually sign save for that part. Save with the letter S. The next part of the verse is every time I fall. We say, every time I fall, fall, there will be those who will call me. Those, because it flows better, who will call me. They will name me a mistake, a wrong. But that's okay. But that's okay. Same thing as the first verse for that part. Now it's time for the bridge, otherwise known as the most difficult part of this song. It starts with, there will be days I lose the battle. I like to say, I will lose the battle, roughly exactly the way it says it. There will be days I lose the battle. Grace says that it doesn't matter. Instead, I say, grace makes, doesn't matter. The next part is, because the cross has already won the war. Make sure that you sign because. This part is important because grace does matter. So you have to complete that sentence. So it says, I will lose the battle. Grace says that it doesn't matter because right hand, cross, left hand, cross. Because the cross has already won the war, because the cross has already won the war. Sometimes I add in a couple other signs when I do it, sometimes like grabbing or winning. But most of the time I say because the cross has already won the war. Now that your hands are up here, you're going to say, he's greater, he's greater. The next part says, I am learning to run freely. We don't even sign run. We say, I am living free. Really easy. It makes it a lot easier to sign it when it's that fast. So I am learning to run freely. I am living freely, understanding how he sees me. And it makes me love him more and more, and it makes me love him more and more. So that bridge again, it says, there'll be days I lose the battle. Grace says that it doesn't matter, 'cause the cross has already won the war. He's greater, he's greater. I am learning to run freely, understanding how he sees me, and it makes me love him more and more. He's greater, he's greater. And on that second time, I think it's about 4 beats, is he's greater, bum, 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 bum. And then after that you repeat, and you are done with Greater by Mercyme. Thank you all for your kind words, and make sure that if you post a video using these signs, please tag me in it so I can see it and I can cheer you on. God bless you.